your home, if you ever arrive. I am dead. I am also alive. I have carved my newfangled bones from a solid oak. No blaze, bereavement, battle, or blow ever broke. I am twigs in my fingers and hair. I am curdled air. Best of all is my voice. From the springing south, brilliant, particular leaves come rioting out of my mouth.
Well, it's one of those rather shadowy nature myths, I suppose, which resist penetration. This idea of a green man, a creature made of vegetation, wood, leaves, etc., and solid, and of course menacing.
I was intrigued by the mystery of what the green man is. He became, for me, something of a personal god.
He appears in various guises at various times, and always as a kind of messenger, always bearing a message or leading me onto something.
The Green Man's making a reappearance now to actually get us out of the sorts of messes that science and economics and arrogance have got us into. What we are going to need more than anything is imagination. And the Green Man, in one sense, stands for a turning upside down of our imagination.
We have left the boundary of the city, and now we are crossing the river. Now you can see the old Forth Bridge. It is 100 years old this year, but we are going much further back than that. We are going back to the point of intersection between history and mythology, okay? And where they touch, you have the responsibility of the artist. It is the artist who takes us there. This is the world of the Green Man.
I've met the Green Man in a number of guises all through my life and through my filmmaking. I was about 10 years old, and I had a tree house high up in a tree. I used to fall asleep there and have astonishing dreams. And one day I was sleeping there and in this platform, and I fell off it. And I fell from this tree, and I suppose 40 feet, and landed on my feet without any damage at all. And I had this sense of this spirit, this creature grabbing me and lowering me to the ground. I had that very powerful feeling of this presence, of this face emerging from the leaves. And since that moment, I've always somehow been trying to refine this spirit, this creature.
Different colour of church.
Yes.
This is not the new red sandstone that we see everywhere in Devon.
Well, we're now in North Devon, so there are many different things about this journey of search from any other search they've made. I'm on a ridiculous quest. I'm asking, what is life? How does it happen? Why doesn't it die?
There's one. Our first one.
good one here. This one especially looks very Celtic. It must have been carved in the early 1500s. In country churches, such as South Molton, the Green Man has often been associated with folklore characters, rituals, such as the Jack and the Green, the Summer Lord, the May King, and a host of other names.
You have to leave Edinburgh and go to the small villages where it is possible to find alive the rituals, the strange expression of memory which you get among communities who care about the image of the Green Man. He is called the Berry Man, and he is taken through the streets of Queensferry every year, and no one can quite understand why.
You can define it, a myth, a great myth, as one that has survived, simply that. I mean, the fact that it survives for thousands of years is indicative of its great strength and its power. And what's important is that they should be retold. Stuart Vervain is a demolition expert whose world collapses and is then obliged to live with his strange and artistic children in these painted landscapes, something that he doesn't understand at all, but which he gradually enters. He enters a new world. He's a rebirth.
Oh, are you feeling yourself again, Mr. McBain?
You definitely look better than you did yesterday.
Crispin Glover, who was painted into this Rousseau painting, when he was covered completely in green paint, his entire body, his face, hair, when he stepped onto the set, there was a kind of gasp. There was a kind of gasp of recognition, because here was the Green Man stepping into the world.
I must have seen those pictures of people where the parts of their faces are made up of vegetables. That was probably somewhere at the back of my mind when I made up my Green Man. Of course, a lot of it grew up at the typewriter, as novels do, but I remember Philip Larkin saying to me that he'd been reading or had heard about the idea of a ghost that wants to get into a house. And I remember he said, yes, an imaginary conversation between the landlord and his wife. Oh, yes, the walker was nearer last night, Mary, than I've ever heard him before. He tried that window over the stable. I didn't like that. He's never tried that before, etc. Then came the idea of an alcoholic who sees ghosts. So he doesn't know, and the reader doesn't know, or is not quite sure, whether they're really there or not.
Green Man, can I help you?
The Green Man in the title is the name not only of a pub, but of a dangerous monster created by a 17th century wizard or sorcerer who manages to reanimate himself and reanimate his monster.
It was at this very window.
Oh, well, sit down, Mr. Arlington. Do tell us. Yeah, have a drink, please.
Thank you. No, I never drink when I'm working. But I'll get you some menus and a wine list while you drink in the atmosphere.
Thank you very much.
The reason why the ghostly magician had picked on Morris rather than any of his predecessors was his tendency to manipulate people for his own ends, his sexual ends.
You smell delicious, a little fruity, but a wonderfully elegant bouquet.
You're sweating, Morris.
You always raise my temperature. Excuse me.
One reason why the Green Man was so popular, why people kept on having him carved or painted or depicted in their pubs and their town halls, is that he was to them the great emblem of renewal, of vegetation, the emblem of fecundity. The first form of the Green Man, the earliest one, is the leaf mask. And that, in classical art, seems to come from the mystery religions, particularly that of Bacchus or Dionysus. And if you see the way in which the leaf and skin are united in the foliate mask of the Green Man, then we have an image of the close participation of man and nature.
Robin, like any good outlaw, set out to make himself a part of the Greenwood.
Deacon, follow me, the rest remain here.
On the one hand, his band wore green. Now, that was a uniform, but it was also, of course, a means of protection. They lived off the forest. The deer they ate were deer they captured in the forest. Any wood they would have for fire, etc., would all be a result of what the forest could provide them with. So in that sense, he's someone who uses the forest to hide him from his enemies and also to live off. He works on so many different levels. On the one hand, he's a champion and a rebel for very ordinary oppressed people against overbearing lords. On another level, he's a beautiful romantic figure of someone seeking freedom in the Greenwood. Every generation has changed Robin Hood to make him the way they want him. We have tried mainly to go back to the medieval stories. The relationship between Robin Hood and the Green Man really stems from the story of Robin Hood and Guy of Gisborne. Now, in that story, Gisborne is a bounty hunter sent to kill Robin. They meet, they fight, and Robin actually kills him. What's important is that Robin here is dressed in green as usual. Guy of Gisborne is dressed in brown. It's spring here killing winter.
Welcome to Sherwood.
I grew up in Nottinghamshire, and I suppose in some senses the myth of Robin Hood was very much part of a real childhood. One of the deep paradoxes is that the Trent Valley is one which is absolutely full of coal-burning fire stations, and the trees in that area are showing signs which could well be of acid rain, degrading the habitat of Robin Hood. One of the things that's characterising our moment in time is that people are feeling more and more beleaguered by what is being presented to them as the ecological crisis. And it's absolutely convergent with the moment of the emergence of the Green Man. He seems to be coming back into the picture, either because he's propelled himself or we've called him, to, in some way, walk with us through what seems to be very, very difficult times. Common Ground is an environmental organisation, and what we felt was that we could actually begin to make a new movement within the environmental context.
The writing will be in black,
yeah.
The figure in green, and
on the Green
back,
Man.
We've got Sandy's Heights and the Common Ground on the back as well.
Right, excellent. We feel very strongly that until we've reclaimed culture into the ecological arguments, that we actually are only making part headway. For us to produce something that has a popular appeal is terribly important. The Green Man symbolises, in so many different ways, an idea of regeneration, an idea of the power of nature through dying and being reborn.
The snake in the green is a pagan symbol of the birth and the resurrection. He dies and he's born again in the spring. And he always comes to life on May Day as the sun rises above the downs and comes to show people that there is life after death. He comes back into life.
I've been writing Slain for around 7 years so far, and it's an exploration of Celtic myths and legends. The Green Man is very much at the heart of the latest Slain saga, and there is a green undertone, an ecological undertone to Slain. Celtic heroes are part of our heritage, if you like, but they're an obscure part of our heritage. They're shrouded in mist. People only catch glimpses of them. And that, for me, is the appeal in terms of writing about them. And I think the readers, too, have some understanding. They see evidence of Celtic myths and legends all around them, stones, customs like the Green Man. And there's an intense interest, I think, in knowing what our past was all about.
Pat Mill's Slain character became a cult in its own right and sold out its print run of 30,000 in weeks. Pat Mills has been one of the most important figures inside English comics for at least the last 15 years. He's created many of the major characters inside British comics. He took comics out of the realm of things like the Beano and the Dandy, which were very much aimed at children, and he actually sort of pitched them at a much higher level.
Where research is concerned on Slain, one important source is to talk to people around today who are into Celtic mythology, and a very good friend of mine is a practicing witch who celebrates that whole Celtic mythos.
The general feeling about witches, and anybody really that worships any nature spirit, particularly the Green Man, they think we're something to do with the devil or Christian notions of evil and so on. We remember that the souls of witches have been burnt or persecuted, and we feel very brotherly and sisterly towards them. It's this time of year, through May Eve onto the dawn of May Day, when the Green Man, as it is most powerful. I feel as if I've got far too many fingers. They're like their branches. I don't feel like a human being. I feel like a true creature plugged into the very soil itself. And it's at that point, or soon after, I cease to become a person. I am calm. Hastis rispan kalnum.
As a symbol, the Green Man is one that is extremely potent. What I'm trying to do is to reenact as far as I can what such a hero of the past might have been. Somebody who can be very powerful, very strong, but also vulnerable.
They're not literally out of the ground. They've been standing here for an awful long time. You can tell by the weathering pressure.
The artist I'm working with is Simon Bisley. We work together in terms of discussing the ideas and the way the characters are going to be portrayed. Seeing this stone circle here at Rollright was very much a source of inspiration for the end scene in Slain, where the Green Man is taken out into a circle and tied to a tree. and ritually put to death.
The king, after the reign of 7 years, is sacrificed, which he sacrificed, burnt and eaten. And the readers are going to believe this is the main character slain, covered in vine, representing the Green Man. His whole body will be covered in moss, just rubbed onto his skin. I suppose they're trying to sort of like, he's almost like a living tree. The fact that he's bound down to this log and flayed alive and things, I think is very strange. I think it appealed to the younger readers because they like that kind of gore, don't they? The green is as being vibrant as possible, purely for comic terms, because it has to be immediate to the eye. And so it's the concept that you come from the earth and you go back to the earth.
Tenor.
Hail, the Green Man, Lord of the Woods.
Bell, Baylor.
Hail, the Green Man, Spirit of the Woods.
I think that one of the main sort of explanations of the reason why the Green Man as opposed to the Green Woman is that the Green Man is taking a part which is a protecting part, if you like, for example, the female forest or the Earth Mother.
The heavy plough was introduced at about the time when the Christian missionaries were trying to convert the pagan tribes, and their greatest difficulty was to overcome the deep-seated animism, especially the tree worship and the veneration for springs and rocks. The long-term effect of bringing ancient tree worship to an end was that the tough northern peasants felt that they were licensed to hack and to cut and to delve and to dig and to do what they like with nature. The proselytizing saint who was particularly connected with ending tree worship was St. South. St. South worked in the lowlands of Scotland, and he attacked the groves and cut them down and built churches where they had been.
Please look at the most important image of the Green Man in Scotland.
The devil, no?
It is not the devil.
No.
It is the force of nature, of paganism. It is the force of the Celts and the Picts before Christianity, before St. Cerf. This particular burst strip is for French artists. In searching for the Green Man, it's certainly not a journey in the normal sense. Most people who go on the journey, they don't forget it. It does change them. The first person to react directly to the challenge of the road was Joseph Beuys. With him, I had found a friend and a collaborator. I hope I did change his life in some way for the better. He landed in Scotland on this road to Micosegi because I invited him. The whole world had discovered him by then, and he was getting the recognition he deserved. But I knew that he wanted something more than anything. It wasn't for nothing that I called him the Green Man.
He's here at about 4,500
4.500.
Und das Ziel sind wie viele Bäume?
Das Ziel ist, die ganze Welt mit Bäumen vollzupflanzen.
Welchen Anteil wollen Sie da selbst übernehmen?
So viel wie möglich. So viel ich in meiner Lebenszeit pflanzen kann. Da müssen die anderen Leute nachher Sibirien, die Mongolei, Südafrika, ganz Afrika, die Wüste vollpflanzen. Sahara, alles. Es geht alles.
The planting of the 7,000 oaks in 1982 indicates a symbolic beginning. Each part of the monument is composed of two parties. The living being, the oak tree, steadily altering due to the seasons of the year. The other one, the crystalline part, preserving its shape, quantity, height and weight. As the years go by, the balance between the stone and the tree will be achieved. Sculpture is an evolutionary process. Everyone an artist.
It's the one great artwork which gives me hope, which brings art and the world of the environmentalist, the world of the green parties together. And it was a stroke of genius. He was making something that would enable him, after his death, to collaborate with untold numbers of human beings in the generations that would follow.
Green man in the garden staring from the tree. Why do you look so long and hard through the pane at me? Your eyes are dark as holly of sycamore, your horns. Your bones are made of elder branch, your teeth are made of thorns. Your hat is made of ivy leaf, of bark, your dancing shoes. And evergreen and green and green, your jacket and shirt and trews. Leave your house and leave your land and throw away the key and never look behind, he creaked, and come and live with me. I bolted up the window, I bolted up the door, I drew the blind that I should find the green man nevermore. But when I softly turned the stair, as I went up to bed, I saw the green man standing there. Sleep well, my friend, he said.
I think, thinking back, that I thought it was a very nice thing to discover, because nobody else seems to trouble with it. Quite a lot of people said nonsense. I think they're very nice and very friendly. I haven't seen enough of it yet.
The green men in Exeter Cathedral are set in the longest vault in English churches, which is like a vast forest and seems almost to give the impression of being inside the body of a green man.
One reason why we find the green man so often in churches is that he meant something very special to the architects and masons, as though it is an image of giving out to the world what is inside one.
The green man, as the author of plants, is somehow connected with the Virgin, which seems to go back far beyond the origins of Christianity.
These ancient myths had a great life and power of their own, and they in themselves were like precursors of Christianity.
When the green man speaks, where's that vegetation coming from? It's coming from our dream levels, it's coming from our deepest selves.
Call for Jack Finney!
My name is not Jack Finney. It is Mr. Finney.
Birtwistle is giving the past a life through our time and into the future. What he's done is to revivify our interest in the way in which music is a deep part of our culture and to make it relevant to our circumstances now.
The subjects of my dramatic theatre are subjects which have chosen themselves. What I want is a subject matter which expresses certain musical ideas, and consequently I use rather archetypal subject matters.
Jack Finney gives back to the dead one on the floor everything that is required in terms of sexual potency. Secondly, he revives him. He draws him back to life. He brings him back from death. And that is the crucial role of the Green Man.
Why the Green Man is because he's a constant image, he's in a constant motive, and I'm became a sort of a true amateur of what he possibly could be. I have no idea whatsoever.
There are all kinds of artists who've been working for a long time in what is now being termed green art. But what's very interesting indeed is that those artists are becoming more and more popular, more and more interesting to a wider public. If we go back to the last huge crisis that we all were facing, to the Second World War, it's interesting to notice that quite a few artists were intrigued by the Green Man then, so that having been quiet for a long time as characters within art history, they're people who are being noticed again for what they were doing at that time. John Craxton, for example, became entranced in some kind of way with this figure of the Green Man.
When we were bombed out in 1940, everywhere London was dirty, and in a way one was driven into seeing the world in a kind of stressful way. These sort of trees have become distorted and malformed, and in the wintertime they had forms of great gnarled shapes like fists and gesticulating arms. And I found this sort of extraordinary, almost surrealist way these trees were coming over the walls at one as one walked underneath, as if to sort of grab one and menace one. From earliest childhood, we used to go to picnics in the South Downs near Chichester to a very, very extraordinary place which is not known about. It's called Kingly Vale. And it's a huge temple, a Bronze Age or Iron Age temple of yew trees, with enormous yew trees. And I remember as a child being terribly impressed by the mystery, as though there was a deity was there. And here, which is had a great bearing on me, is Archimboldo. I was fascinated in this transformation, this enigmatic, metamorphic figures that he made, but they were things at the time which had great meaning about the way which nature is not absolutely pinpointed and can change and turn. This metamorphosis of a fallen tree into something else underlies all one's preoccupations with trees. They ceased to be trees and became an object in their own right, a strange, mysterious being.
I fear those grey old men, those grey, gnarled, low-browed, knock-kneed, bowed, bent, huge, strange, long-armed, deformed, hunchbacked, misshapen oak men.
Nature is very beautiful in the long shots, but very violent in the close-ups. Nature has its dark and threatening and angry and vengeful side, as well as its harmonious side. And these two things are always in tension in the forest, in nature. And Green Man has these two faces, and you never know which face you're looking into.
In portraying noxious people or noxious forces or embodiments of horrible forces, and one has to enter into it. I mean, moderation is absurd, deadly in war and in fiction. Primitive man, if there was such a creature, but no doubt saw his whole circle of interest reflected in nature, and a strong one being sexual, of course, and so there would be he would see sexual elements that we don't see as sexual. It's no use denying the existence and the importance and the power of irrational, antisocial impulses, but to talk of taming them is rather absurd, though they take a pretty hefty knock in this story. But they've got to be reconciled. They must not be. If they're stamped underfoot and pushed out of sight, they'll have their revenge in some way.
The Green Knight is an extraordinary character who has been popular through generations of people. He first appears in a wonderful 14th century poem called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. He's an extraordinary character who seems to symbolize nature. The Green Knight appears suddenly from the outside into the decadent excess of King Arthur's court. And I think that the same sort of thing is happening now, that the Green Man is asserting himself within and amongst us, coming right into the inside and making his challenge. Harrison Birtwistle is currently engaged in writing an opera called Gawain. One inspiration has been the chapter house in Southwell Minster, which is so full of green men.
This place is a place of opposites. It's architectural and it's form. On the other side of the opposition is what most people would say is its decoration, the leaves, which are improvised. This is an enclosed place, and yet what it is decorated with is references to the outside. The Gawain poem is about the outside world coming in, and that's what drew me to it. I think there's a lot of speculation about whether the Green Knight is the Green Man, but I suppose the person who wrote it when he did was not oblivious of the fact of the existence of the... So there must be some connection somewhere. The interesting thing about the poem is that it takes place in winter. It's a winter landscape, and it takes place in Christmas, and the time when we brought in all the evergreen leaves, the Christmas tree, the holly and the ivy, mistletoe. It's to do with that side of the world. So as another aspect of what is opposite is the question of pagan and Christian. The whole place, it's like a game which the rules have been lost.
You know of me all you have need to know. Come, let the game begin.
Blood spurted from the body, bright against the green. Yet the fellow did not fall, nor falter one whit, for he held the head in his hand upright, and menacingly said with its mouth, as you may now hear, "Be prepared to perform what you promised, Gawain. Seek faithfully till you find me, my fine fellow."
So Gawain is then engaged on a quest. A reciprocal opportunity has been presented to him. It is demanded that he goes out, and he accepts the challenge, into wild nature. Any challenge which demands an exploration of the relationship with power which nature represents, that is a relationship which many, many artists have regarded as their own central quest.
In searching for the Green Man, they have to encounter the very extremes of good and evil, of the religious life and the life of the demonic. And this is the very stuff and substance of art.
I think filmmakers and storytellers, artists, have the responsibility of exploring the relationship between man and nature, and art is now the only thing really that can make these connections. The Green Man has become somehow more important because he is a link between us and the unconscious, us and nature.